The story of Pokemon, the complete history of the most successful franchise in the world. Iconic monsters. Explore the entire Pokédex, starting at Bulbasaur and ending with Calyrex. Every era explored. Journey across the series' history, from Kanto all the way to Galar. Trading card takeover. Delve into the story of the strategic and oh-so-satisfying Pokemon card game. Taking over television inside the anime. Take a deep dive into the unforgettable television series and iconic moments. Bookzine, 100% unofficial retro gamer presents the story of Pokemon, the complete history of the most successful franchise in the world, inside Pokemon Legends Arceus. Welcome. Hello there. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. For 25 years, this series has entertained leagues of aspiring trainers. Starting as a mere idea in the mind of Satoshi Tajiri, drawing from his experiences catching bugs as a child, it grew into a duet of Game Boy games that capture the hearts of Japan. From then, the Pocket Monsters set their sights on taking over the rest of the world by storm. Evolving to encompass video games, toys, cards, manga, anime, and more, Pokemon rapidly turned into a multimedia behemoth. Its super effective strategy of maintaining that popularity with regular updates of new monsters, games, and regions to explore has ensured that it's the most successful media franchise in the world. Today, it's almost impossible to find someone who doesn't recognize the likes of Pikachu, Ash Ketchum, or the iconic Pokeball logo. Inside this special celebratory bookzine, we're going to take you on a journey from the very first generation of Pokemon all the way to the 8th. On our quest, we'll learn about how each era brought something new to the series. Explore each and every Pokédex expansion, and delve deep into the stories behind the video games, television, series, and more. Whether you're a Pokemon professor or an aspiring Pokemon master, taking their first steps toward the Indigo Plateau, we're confident that you'll enjoy the ride. Your very own Pokemon legend is about to unfold. A world of dreams and adventures with Pokemon awaits. Table of Contents. 8. The Evolution of Pokemon. How the series went from humble beginnings to a worldwide juggernaut. Page 18. Generation 1. The initial wave of Pokemon was a media invasion. Explored here. Page 20. Pokédex 001 through 151. The iconic first lot of Pokemon are near and dear to everyone's heart. Page 22. Pokemon Red and Blue. Pokemon Luminaries. Remember the making of the first game. Page 30. Taking over television. How Ash Ketchum animated series took over TV schedules. Page 34. Pokemon the first movie. Mewtwo Strikes Back. A strange invitation from the world's greatest trainer. Sounds tantalizing. Page 36. Pokemon, the trading card game. How the Pocket Monsters escaped the video games and took over trading cards. Page 40. Generation 2. The follow-up games showed the world that Pokemon was here to stay. Page 42. Pokédex 152 through 251. This generation of monsters welcomed the ultra-cool Dark and Steel types, along with a bunch of baby Pokemon. Page 44. Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal. Game Freak's sequels to Red and Blue were ambitious, and the studio knocked it out of the park. Page 50. Pokemon Mini. This handheld console curio had a healthy array of Pokemon video games. Page 52. Generation 3. Travel to a brand new region with more video game spin-offs and a Pokédex new creatures to meet. Page 54. Pokédex 252 through 386. Meet the primal Pokemon, who can control the land and sea. Page 56. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. The third mainline games in the series took us to the lovely locale of Hoenn and introduced us to Team Aqua and Team Magma. Page 60. Pokemon Remakes. Today, remasters of old Pokemon games are as regular as the main series. We look at the origins of this tradition. Page 66. Generation 4. Pokemon takes bold steps onto the Nintendo DS and into the Internet. Page 68. Pokédex 387 through 493. This selection of monsters had a mythological edge to them. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Discover why Pokemon's first foray into Sinnoh is so beloved by fans. Generation 5. Now over 10 years old, the franchise mixed things up a little. Page 76. Pokédex 494 through 649. Gaze at the biggest Pokédex expansion the series had ever seen. Page 78. Pokemon Black and White. Take a look at... It says Anne. Take and look. I'm going to ignore that. Behind the scenes of Game Freak's daring 5th Gen sequels. Page 86. Pokemon Origins. Celebrating the game-inspired anime. Page 88. Generation 6. The tail end of this generation put Pokemon in the center stage once again, thanks to Pokemon Go. Page 90. Pokédex 650 through 721. We're introduced to some of the most popular Pokemon around and are a set of keys. Page 92. Pokemon X and Y. These 3DS Kalos classics ushered in the exciting Mega Evolution feature. Page 96. Pokemon Go. Inside the phenomenon responsible for the second coming of Poké Fever. Page 104. Generation 7. Alola brings a chilled-out vibe and a new look for the animated series. Page 106. Pokédex 722 to 809. These tropical creatures were a treat for the eyes and soul. Page 108. Pokemon Sun and Moon. These ambitious yet laid-back entries introduced us new forms for select members of the original 151. Page 112. Detective Pikachu. Find out what happens when you cross an Electromass with Ryan Reynolds. Page 114. Generation 8. The most up-to-date generation of Pokemon had controversy, but also a lot of promise. Page 116. Pokédex 810 through 898. Say good day to the lords and ladies of the UK-inspired Galar region. Page 118. Pokemon Sword and Shield. We expected big things for Pokemon's proper Nintendo Switch debut, and the Game Freak took that literally. 122. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Travel back in time to the Hisui region to see the most ambitious Pokemon game yet. Page 126. Pokemon Parallels. Take a look at some of the more notable alternatives to Pokemon Pocket Monsters, including Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and more. The evolution of Pokemon. Explosively popular in the 90s, Pokemon has outlived the initial fad and become one of the world's most popular series of games. Nick Thorpe talks to the developers about the series that challenges you to catch them all. It's extremely hard not to be aware of Pokemon if you haven't been tempted by the urge to catch them all. You probably know someone who has. The video games have sold over 368 million units, with some titles topping the 10 million mark. It's far more than just a gaming phenomenon, though. Since the series launched in the UK back in 1999, Pikachu's smiling face has appeared everywhere, from trading cards to cinema screens. However, it may come as a surprise to many of you that the origins of the series go way back to 1990. The Pokemon series has always been primarily developed by Game Freak, a Japanese team which grew out of a fanzine of the same name. Produced by writer Satoshi Tajiri and illustrator Ken Sugimori, when we first started, some of the readers were actually programmers, and they had the skills and access to hardware. That's how we started in producing video games, Sugimori explained in a Games interview on the history of the series. Down here we have a picture that says Junichi Masuda has overseen the whole series. Seijiro Omori directed the more recent entries. The firm made its debut in 1989 with Quinty, a Famicom puzzle game, localized for North American NES market, as Mendel Palace. That same year, the Game Boy was released, and Game Freak moved quickly to outline a vision of a new type of RPG, which would utilize the handheld's link cable and portable nature. A design document titled Capsule Monsters was ready by 1990. When you examine the Pokemon games on the most basic level, they are fairly typical Japanese RPGs, with a few key twists. The first is that as the Pokemon trainer, instead of gathering party members through the storyline, you recruit the monsters you encounter in the wild. This element is present in the early design documents, though the original idea involved players. Involved players having a charisma stat. Whereas in the first game they simply lower a Pokemon's health until it can't resist being captured in a Pokeball. These monsters have special types, such as fire and water, which make some Pokemon more or less effective against others. The second major twist is the games each contain a strong multiplayer element, atypical of RPGs, in which players can trade their creatures or engage in battles. Some Pokemon even require trading to evolve into their stronger upgraded forms. This was also a key part of the pitch document, forming the centerpiece of Satoshi Tajiri's vision for the game. The final twist is that each game comes in at least 2 versions, with a select number of Pokemon absent from each. The brainchild of Shigeru Miyamoto, a friend of mentor Tajiri, this was a stroke of genius. Rather than having the ability to obtain all the monsters with enough dedicated solo play, players were required to engage with multiplayer functions of the game. Also speaking to games, composer and programmer Junichi Masuda explained, "People say that when you're playing video games, you're usually playing on your own. So we wanted to create an experience you can play the game, but still play together with friends at the same time and have fun." The game went into development, changing its title to Pocket Monsters due to trademark difficulty, and stayed there for a very long time. Despite having been pitched soon after the release of the Game Boy, Pocket Monsters wouldn't arrive in Japan until the start of 1996, a time when the monochrome hardware looked to be on its last legs. Pocket Monsters, red and green, followed the standard RPG model outlined earlier, with the key differences changing the goal of the game. The single-player quest involved gathering 8 badges from battling gym leaders, other trainers that served as bosses, before taking on the Elite Four and your rival, as a final boss run. Once that was done, the social aspect of the game became necessary, as you sought to complete your collection of 150 Pokemon. The wrinkle in the formula was that there were actually another creature, the 151st Pokemon Mew. The mythic monster was added late in development, in space created after the game's debug tools were removed. An untested addition that would be unthinkable today. Luckily, Mew didn't cause problems. It turned out to be something of a solution. Unavailable during regular play, Mew did occasionally appear via glitches and rumors of how to obtain it began to form. Mew was able to be distributed to cartridges at special events, the first of which was a competition in Koro Koro Comics, which attracted 70,000 entries. Word of mouth spread, and the game's initially sluggish sales turned around, later aided by additional merchandising. Though Pocket Monsters Red and Green were released in February 1996, they didn't hit their peak sales until the summer of 1997. After a lengthy localization delay, Pocket Monsters, now retitled Pokemon, and Red and Blue versions arrived in the USA in 1998. Arrived in the USA, then Europe and other PAL territories in 1999. The slow build seen in Japan wouldn't be a factor in these territories, as Pokemon arrived with a coordinated marketing blitz that saw the TV series, trading card game, and video games hit almost simultaneously. A craze started almost overnight, helped along by additional special versions such as Pokemon Yellow, which starred Pikachu and took elements from the TV series. Ultimately, the first generation of games sold over 23 million copies. But while the first games were still making waves internationally, a sequel was needed for Japan and arrived in late 1999. The story in the games usually involves ferrying items around or beating up an evil faction. Pokemon Gold and Silver established the convention of adding new Pokemon in sequels. The evolution of Pokemon. Pokemon Silver Screen. There's a good chance that your first exposure to the Pokemon franchise didn't come from the games, but from the animated series. It follows Ash Ketchum's adventures as a Pokemon trainer, accompanied by his trusty Pikachu, and initially gym leaders Brock and Misty, who were later replaced by a rotating cast of companions. Along the way, they take part in gym battles and capture new Pokemon, and regularly attacked by inept Team Rocket grunts Jesse and James, along with their talking Meowth. I still have to say, in my own opinion, Pokemon Orange Islands was the best in the series, and it would have been nice if the original Mewtwo Strikes Back and Pokemon 2000 were part of the actual canon story. And then after Orange Islands / Pokemon 2000, if Jesse and James actually, joined Ash and friends as actual friends and traveling companions. The other changes I would make would be Ash, Misty, and Brock are all at least, I'd say instead of being 10 when you leave to do your Pokemon training, 20. So Ash would be 20, Misty probably be 20, Brock might be 24. I don't know. Jesse and James might be 22. Heck, you might have a time here and there where it's just Ash traveling with Jesse and James. But at that point, like I said, they're not villains anymore. But eventually, the rest of the villains like Aqua and Magma would wind up being a lot darker. Same with Giovanni and the rest of Team Rocket. But yeah, I still say Orange Islands is one of the best. The show has been a huge success and remains in production today with over 1,100 episodes produced, as well as an astonishing 23 anime movies. The first film grossed over $163 million and was briefly the highest grossing movie based on a video game, a record later taken by the 2001 adaptation of Tomb Raider. In 2019, the series took bold steps into live-action cinema with Detective Pikachu, which now has a sequel in the works. The Pokemon cartoon series has had 5 episodes removed from circulation globally, predominantly to show sensitivity following real-world disasters, along with 3 more removed from English language run due to issues such as weaponry. However, the biggest controversy was an episode featuring the virtual Pokemon Porygon, which sent hundreds of Japanese children to a hospital in 1997 after triggering fits with flashing imagery. You can still play together with friends all at the same time and have fun Pokemon Gold and Silver served as the first massive overhaul to the series, providing a brand new quest and a new region, Johto. The most immediately obvious new feature was a visual overhaul as a result of the Game Boy Color support. However, the changes went far deeper. A battery-powered real-time clock was included in the cartridge, affecting what happened in-game. Certain Pokemon were worn by during the day, while others could only be found at night. and the other events only took place. Okay, that's the end of page 9. So, I read the table of contents, so there's a lot more to go. But I might read some more of this. I might not. But there's 130 pages total, so there'll be another 120 pages to go. So, yeah. So that's that with Pokemon. Heck, there's a multitude of other books I'm out of breath, considering reading. Heck, there's a thing of poems called Where's the Sidewalk Ends. There's the Minecraft Blockopedia. There's a thing that's a telling of the Bible called the Action Bible, which is basically all the Bible stories retold as if they're a comic book. A complete thing of the Spider multiverse, like every Spider-Man in existence. And I'm pretty sure there were other things I'm struggling to remember. But yeah, that stuff might be part of this playlist. I might have. Let me. I think there were other books too. I can't really remember. That would be part of this playlist. I have 2 books that I'll have as part of their own separate playlists each. One would be Grimm's Fairy Tales, a special collection of which, and sorry, I think I need a nap. But I know a few of these books I could read for videos on this, but I know the Grimm Fairy. Oh, let me stand up for a second. I'll be right back. I just need to walk around a little bit. I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I went downstairs. I took a puff of an inhaler, and I also grabbed some milk and a bag with some cookies in it. Well, it's a grocery bag with a couple boxes of cookies. I'm not going to eat them all. Just going to eat a few of them and close up the bag and just leave it up here so I can snack on them sometimes. But yeah, like I said, in this playlist, like I said, I got the rest of that Pokemon magazine. Like there's a... Heck, I could do some of the poem book, Where the Sidewalk Ends. Or, heck, like I said, that Action Bible thing, or the Spider-Man multiverse characters, or Minecraft Blockopedia, or... Then again, you guys know I am of a lot of books. I've started to read a lot of books for videos, and I'll say this. Any of those 4 books, I might do part of this playlist. Or I might do other books, too. Heck, I might do random magazines and stuff, too. I don't know. I'm undecided. I could literally be reading anything. Maybe a shampoo ingredients on a shampoo bottle. Or food ingredients. I really don't know. But those books are the main things. Though, if I do read them, it'll be sometime in the next couple weeks. After that, I'll be gifting all those books to somebody, so... Just because I think they would like it. Well, I know they would. I know they will. But for the most part, you guys know me. Take Berserker Gluttony. There's 8 volumes out. I read the first, maybe 30 or 50 pages of volume 1 over the course of 6 or 7 videos. And then I never read any more, but I've read, all first of the 8 volumes on my own. And volume 9 should be coming out at some point. Though I still say the outfit that Fate Graphite or Fate Barbados, hopefully it's not a story spoiler, the outfit he wears on the cover of volume number 5 of Berserker Gluttony, that is an awesome looking outfit. If I was rich, I would totally wear that. Well, if I was rich and also not a fucking fat ass. But yeah, those books be part of this series, because like I said, it's just... Heck, at one point I considered... It's like, hey, people give me scripts for ASMR. I'll never have a 3D microphone. I'm just using the microphone gaming headset thing. And of course, even if I did get a script, I'd only read it if I felt okay or comfortable with it. But I'm part of me is considering that idea, and I'm Lunar D8 ruins ASMR for everyone else on the internet. But yeah, this is just videos I know nobody would ever ask for and nobody would ever want. But I just felt like doing. But like I said, if I don't finish those books in the next couple weeks, I'm never going to read them. But I might just read random shit in this playlist. Just usually stuff I'm usually... Because, I'm a nerd. I like anime and video game stuff. Like I said, I've never actually physically played the Warhammer tabletop game. But I have the books about the lore, just because I enjoy reading it. Heck, there's a fan fiction called Shinji and Warhammer 40k. That's a really good story. But, heck, not only are there all the light novels of the Slayer series, but there's, I think, a guy named Tuflorian, if I remember right. So maybe one day I'll try to find that and actually read it online. because it was just really, really great stories. I think in order to really appreciate that, you got to at least have watched the Slayers anime stuff. Lena Inverse and Guri Gabriel, and yeah, it's like 1995. I still strongly suggest the 1995 movie with the actor Armand Assante, The Odyssey. Second best movie ever made, The Odyssey. Yeah, heck, it'd still be cool if Berserk Gluttony got made into an anime. But, okay, I should end the video. The main reason I ended earlier because it's like I don't want the video to be overly long, and it's like, like I said, I might at least start each of those books, but there's no guarantee I'm going to finish them. And like I said, if I don't finish it in the next couple weeks, I'm never returning to those books ever again. But you can always look those books up and buy them if you want to read them yourself. Heck, any book I mention or read, my main goal is I'm just trying to share. Hey, I think this book is cool. I find this stuff interesting. I like to read it myself. Maybe you guys would like to buy it too for your own personal libraries. But I have 2 other books here that I will absolutely 100% finish. I have said similar things about RPGs that I've started that were very long RPGs, and I could always return to them at some point, like Soul Nomad or the Trails game, Trails of Sky or something. Or there was also a game where I had like a fire sword, and there was some cute girl that traveled with me or something, and I don't know, something with magic, and I don't know. I remember my computer struggled to run it. Heck, if you watch my Let's Play of Shadow of War, it's just a PowerPoint presentation of Italian stabbing orcs. At least OBS and everything captured my playthrough of Let's Play Resident Evil 7 fine. So I do strongly suggest watching my blind Let's Play of Resident Evil 7, or my Let's Play of Super Meat Boy, or of Dragon Spirit, or the Perfect Apocalypse Trilogy, or Thumper, or Splasher, or Fight Crab, or Jubilee. I'm really tired. But eventually I'll have to make a VTuber model. One day. I'll get around to it. I work a lot, and I procrastinate, and also I do other stuff because, 1, I am lazy, and 2, I do whatever I feel like, and there's just other stuff I want to do more. So I'll get around to it one day. I've worked on it a little bit, just kind of indecisive about how I actually want it to look. Besides, I'm just using the free Vroid software stuff, so I'm not paying a cent for anything. Heck, I never plan to make a single cent off of anything. Never plan to make a single cent as being Lunar D8. I just like rambling at my computer. Just kind of out of breath, though. At least that's the thing in a video game. There's at least most of the time is you're not talking all the time. There's the pauses where you're action and stuff. Granted, sometimes like games like Brotato, you just like sort of space out and not talk at all. But yeah, I really do need to end the video. I was trying to not make it too long. I was trying to end it like 20 minutes so it wouldn't be overly long. But yeah, like I said, I think with this playlist, there's the Pokemon book, there's Where the Sidewalk Ends, there's the Action Bible, There's the Minecraft Blockopedia. There's Spider-Man Across the Multiverse book describing every Spider-Man in every conceivable universe. But no guarantees I'll finish that stuff, but I might get into them and at least some. Might read other things. But I have 2 other books that I plan to do. I absolutely do want to finish the stories completely. One is it's a book called Grimm's Fairy Tales Illustrated Edition. The fairy tales of the Brother Grimm are among the best loved and most famous in world literature. This volume features more than 40 of their best-known fairy tales, lavishly illustrated with line drawings and color plates by Arthur Rackham. And like I said again, I strongly suggest you just buy the book yourself, but I will read this. I will read the entire book. I really do want to do that. Same way, I also have a book of the Tao. The martial arts book of the Tao philosophy. Heck, some people basically consider it a religion. Feel free to share your opinions, people. Whether good or bad about the Tao or whatever. Like I said, I find it interesting. And I had an opportunity to pick the book up, so yeah, I have a very, very thick book. Granted, each page has just got really illustration, and the words do not take up a massive amount of page. And the pages are actually just very thick. It's a interesting way the hardbound book is put together, but I think it is. I like the aesthetic. I like the feel of the pages. But yeah, the Tao Te Ching Illustrated: The Way to Goodness and Power, Lao Tzu. I have the book, Grimm's Fairy Tales. I do want to read all of that, but that'll be its own separate playlist. Because like I said, this playlist, I'll have the story, the history of Pokemon, the Action Bible, Where the Sidewalk Ends, the Minecraft Blockopedia, Spider-Man Across the Multiverse, all the different Spider-Man biography stuff, and just random other stuff. Just whatever I feel like reading, I guess. But these 2 books I want to be their own separate playlist. I want Grimm's Fairy Tale to be its own playlist. Even though I have I can't read the title from this angle. I have another book called Grimm's Fairy Tales over there. But this one's nicer. Just like it's better drawings and stuff, but I just wanted to buy a better book. I like pictures, okay? So I want that to be its own playlist. I also want this book, the Tao Te Ching, to be its own playlist. But yeah, I have the Book of Tao, and I plan to make it its own playlist. I'm gonna probably take a shower, play some potato, and try to get some sleep, and then go back to work. I hope everyone out there had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And this is Lunar D8 signing out. Bye.